Today we have something a little bit special because we have two different mixes of the same song done by two different engineers. One was done by Bob Horn and the other by Eric Riker. The band is called Little Empire and the song is called Nightfall. And I've been told that the band prefers Bob's mix overall, except for the bridge where they actually prefer Eric's. And I've been asked if it's possible for us to use Bob's mix for the entirety of the song, except just slot in Eric's bridge. So we'll see. The only way to know if it's going to work and it feels natural is if we try it. But before we do anything, we're just going to listen to both flat as we would always do, just to see what our initial opinions are, where our ear is going as we listen without any processing whatsoever. So let's start out with just listening to Eric's mix first. This is the flat mix, no processing. Skip just before the bridge here. It's a dense mix, and it's got a whole lot for me to then dig in, and I can bring out a whole lot of great things from this mix. But I'm really feeling that it needs a lot of support. The emphasis in this mix is definitely around the upper mid range and the mids. It feels a little bit mid-rangey to me, not in a bad way. It's just that's where the global EQ tilt is emphasized. And the curve of everything, which leaves me room to fill in down below where that mid-range is emphasized in the mix and allow me to get a whole lot of size. All that being said, as soon as the bridge kicks in, all of that information is there. It's probably the most supported section of the song in terms of what's going on in the low mids with that synthy sub bass, not even sub bass, but just that sub bass comes up in the low mid area. And then as soon as the chorus comes in, it feels like it's lost. So I might need to do some rides to compensate for all of that. Another thing I noticed is that towards the end section of the bridge, there's this build up. The drums are building up and I'd like to feel that expand open, like almost brighten, anticipating what I'm going to do to the low mid. So I'm going to create all this nice support. And then I know that towards the end of that bridge, as it really builds up going into the chorus, I want to hear that expand and breathe open. So not like it's building and kind of folding down and collapsing in on itself. I want to feel that grow and bloom and then hit down on that chorus and have it really, really hit with impact and excitement. Those are my thoughts, and I'm going to be aware of that as I listen to Bob's mix. Here's Bob's mix completely flat.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that's something it's me.
All right, right off the bat, first 2 seconds of the song, I'm hearing it. This is a completely different world. All of a sudden, I'm getting so much support and a big fat kick and bass. It's completely different than Eric's mixes. So this is going to be interesting to compare once they're both done.
Feel it in your body, the language. I'm following you. Oh, by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, do you feel afraid? When the night falls,
I'm hearing that there's a whole lot of warmth, there's a whole lot of support down there. In fact, to my ear, a little too much. Now, it's certainly not a problem. I love getting mixes like this because it's going to allow me to really, really open it up on top. And I have all this bottom to play with and shape. I don't want to do that one first. I want to do Eric's mix first for the reasons I explained earlier. And let's see what we come up with.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah.
So I just pulled the tube compression. And the first thing we're going to do is just see if we can use these two EQs off each other, this tube and solid state EQ off each other, feeding into a little bit of high frequency limiting perhaps, and then some solid state compression, the C1, and see how far we get with just using these tools. Of course, some limiting post-conversion, brick wall limiting. We'll start with 2 dB, see how that feels.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need. Feel it in your body, the language. I'm following you. Or by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls, when the night falls. Tell me, baby, do you feel afraid when the night falls, when the night falls? Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Do you feel it in the streets? Is it you or is it me? Maybe we're just caught in between a teenage love dream and reality. Wherever your heart beats, baby, I'm following you. Oh, when the sweat drips from the heat, I'm still following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls, when the night falls. Tell me, baby, do you feel afraid when the night falls, when the night falls? Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Yeah. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls, when the night falls. Tell me, baby, do you feel afraid when the night falls, when the night falls? Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. When the night falls, nightfall, nightfall. Won't you kiss me when the night falls? Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls, night falls. When the night falls, kiss me when the night falls, when the night falls. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You never make it if you miss the nightfall.
You can see as the song went down, it was starting to kind of morph into place. I'm not done yet. I'm still learning the song as I'm mastering it, but let's run through it one more time now that we're getting closer to where we want to end up.
There must be something that you need.
All right, that's cool. I'll probably attenuate on the bus by a little bit, just because it starts with that vocal, and then as soon as the drums come in, I'll ride up into it. So what that does is that adds a little bit of resistance. So I'm turning it down just a little bit, or adding some resistance, a dB, and then as soon as those drums come in, it's going to feel like it expands. Here's how it is without the ride.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me.
All right, here's with the ride.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need. Feel it in your body, the language. I'm following you. Or by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, don't.
All right, let's try our first print. What am I doing? I'm really giving it a whole lot of support right underneath, right around 120, lower mids. I'm shifting it upward, so I'm not emphasizing 60 as much as I am 120. I am emphasizing 3K quite a bit, and then 6K quite a bit, and not as much around 8K. So probably the most emphasis is around the lower mids, and I anticipated that because that's where I felt like I wanted to get some real nice support. And then I'm just feathering everything in above that, just so as I'm adding that nice support, it doesn't feel dark. The drums aren't feeling folded down. The vocal is not feeling tucked in. It's feeling right on top of that support. And that's something that I'm always trying to achieve when I need to get support, is making sure that there's no downsides to achieving that. I also want to make sure that as I'm opening up on top of that support around 6 and 3, these are wide bands, that nothing is getting too edgy on the vocal. So I'm using that high frequency limiting to keep that dialed in. And then, of course, just configuring. I raised the amount of glue on the threshold of the C1 just to, as I'm getting all of this nice bloom, I want to make sure everything just feels focused and controlled. So just leaning a little heavier on that compression is helping me. Now, as I'm doing that too, I'm raising the makeup gain post, on the output of that compressor. Instead of like digging into compression more, it's adding gain post that compression. So I'm boosting the output of it, which is then lifting everything. And what that does, just based off how the gain staging works on this console, is it's emphasizing the mids and the upper mids a little bit more. If I lowered that makeup gain a little bit relative, and then maybe to compensate for that, gave more gain into the console, you'd find that it'll warm up the mix in more of the low mid area. But if I do what I'm doing right now, emphasize the makeup gain a little bit more, and of course not juice as much gain in subsequently, I'm actually getting a little more emphasis in the upper mids. So all of this working together, getting some more low mid support in the EQ, fine tuning that, but then pulling it upwards with the gain structure is getting it to really expand in all directions. And feeling balanced in the end. Now, I might need to do some subtle rides with EQ as the song goes down from verse to chorus, and then anticipating that build out of the bridge into the chorus that follows it. Let's see how it all goes. So I'm gonna get to my intro here, starting it with a little bit of resistance at the beginning. Let's see how it all goes down.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. To drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need. Feel it in your body, the language. I'm following you. Or by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed.
Okay, so a couple things I noticed there. That bridge felt nice and big, but as soon as that chorus came in after the bridge, it felt like it lost energy. So I would have to do some things to help that out. Maybe I would bring down that bridge a little bit, or at least let the bridge hit with impact and then add a little bit of resistance in a way that feels invisible, and then come in strong with that chorus. I can see how the band really likes that bridge, but I can see how maybe they'd have a note about, or a feeling about, how maybe that chorus doesn't come in with enough impact post that bridge. You'll also notice that just at the very end there, when the arrangement falls out and just the vocals at the end, that I added some resistance on the bus, and I also darkened the EQ. So I'd have to do some rides to adjust for all those transitions too. I could spend time dialing all that in with this mix, but knowing that the band prefers the other mix, I'm just going to jump right to that and see what my first instincts are on that. And then we're going to come back to this bridge on Eric's mix and fit it into Bob's. That's the objective. So let's go for it.
Hey everyone, Eric from Produce Like a Pro here. Hope you're enjoying the episodes so far. If you want to see more episodes like this and dive deeper into mastering tracks, head over to the ultimatemasteringcourse.com. In this 25+ hour masterclass, you'll learn with Gavin Lurssen and Ruben Cohen from Lurssen Mastering Inc., where they have mastered legends from Metallica, Queens of the Stone Age, John Lennon, Bruno Mars, Pharrell Williams, Alison Krauss, and many, many more. The goal of this course is to give you the tools, the mindset, and the knowledge you need to master your own music and create a professional sound that allows your songs to stand shoulder to shoulder with your favorite records. Not only will you sit in with Gavin and Ruben in these sessions to learn their tricks, but you'll also be able to download the exact same mixes that they are working on and follow along or compare your masters with theirs. To learn more, head over to ultimatemasteringcourse.com, and without further ado, let's head back into the episode.
All right, let's see where we end up with Bob's mix.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need. Feel it in your body language. I'm following you. Or by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, do you feel afraid? When the night falls, come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You'll never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You'll never make it if you miss the nightfall. Do you feel it in the streets? Is it you or is it me? Maybe we're just caught in between a teenage love dream and reality. Wherever your heart beats, baby, I'm following you. Oh, when the sweat drips from the heat, I'm still following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, do you feel afraid? When the night falls, come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You'll never make.
Okay, so for this, I'm doing a lot of things different on the EQ. Since I have all that natural support in the bass and the kick, in fact, it felt a little heavy. Let's remember, it felt a little heavy to me before we did any processing. I'm now really emphasizing the mids quite a bit, and also the upper mids around 6K. So if you look at what I've got EQ-wise, kind of started in my similar starting points around 60, just lifted it a hair around 120, but really went for it around 3K, and then also 6K. So it's really lifting that mid and upper mid information ahead of what was going down low, mid, and lows into similar compression settings, but not having the compression work as hard. The way the drums are moving around the vocal and the guitars, I don't think I need as much squeeze. I just want to make sure that things feel like I'm maintaining all of that movement that we're getting naturally from the mix. And also, I'm not having just to push this one as hard to get the size. The size is just happening more effortlessly, just due to the amount of bottom that I have on the mix to work with. And when I crack it open, it's just I just don't feel like I want to hype it. If I start hyping it too much and pushing it too much, the drums are going to start feeling like they're a little bit too pressurized and feel a little too hard, and I might be just shrinking that space so they don't have as much flow to move. I want to be very conscious of that. I want to really be conscious of the drums moving, and all the elements can have this movement. If I push too much, you might get a little bit more level, but you're going to lose that movement. It's going to feel a little more rigid. You're just going to start losing dimension. So I'm going to be very conscious of how that all works. I'm getting really close. Let's just see if I can get a good first attempt riding it all through, because I might need to make some rides. And of course, I haven't listened to the bridge section going to the last chorus yet either. So let's try one out. Let's see if we do a good job, and we'll see what we learn along the way.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need.
Let's try that one more time. Similar thing as I experienced on Eric's mix, funny enough. It might be just due to the way the song naturally wants to develop, but I just want to ease back around 3K on the vocal for when it starts out in that first verse. Make sure those drums are nice and big and supported. And then we might end up giving a little more emphasis around 3 and perhaps around 6 as that chorus kicks in. We'll see. But that was what my ears were telling me to do. Now let's hear it with that adjustment I just made.
There must be something that you need. Maybe that something is me. Maybe we had too much to drink, yeah. Or maybe that's what we need. Feel it in your body, the language. I'm following you. Or by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed.
I might not even need to ride that down at the end. Maybe let's try it without that ride, the very end. I prefer it without the ride. I don't think I need to bring that back. It still feels in context. In fact, sometimes it's a little bit nice for, the very end of the song, even though you hear the compressors kind of release a little bit when all of that energy is not hitting it and there's just vocals there. You have to take into account as a mastering engineer, if there's a song that's going to follow that might start a little low, but if it's just a single, let it expand. Let those vocals just take over at the very end and kind of climax in a different way. I'm fairly happy. I liked how those claps came in at the very end of that chorus. It filled in that final open space that was kind of maybe missing, or at least wanted to build to in the choruses. So we ended up that way. In that place, which felt nice and balanced to me. The bridge coming into that final chorus, it did feel like it lost a little bit of energy, so I might need to do some rides to address that, but not as much on this mix as I felt on Eric's. I probably would have to do a little bit more of a ride on Eric's versus on this one. It's just a minimal thing. But our challenge is not to use Bob's bridge into Bob's chorus. Our challenge is to use Eric's bridge into Bob's chorus. So now we're in a place where we have a complete master for Eric's mix and a separate complete master for Bob's mix. And I've made that little edit in Bob's bridge, using Bob's bridge, because I wrote it a little differently. So I have two files to now give to the band and the producer. We're going to recreate everything we did on the analog console, but now we're going to do it in Pro Tools and work digitally. And instead of boring you with all the mouse clicks and all the automation that I've drawn in, I've already done all the work. I'm just going to review everything with you guys so you can see what I did. So if you look here in Pro Tools, on this track, we have Bob's mix, and it'll be going through our mastering settings over here. Then we have Eric's mix right here just for the bridge, and it's going through our mastering settings over here. And they transition. We've done a little bit of automation and some special editing techniques to help bridge those transitions. And then below here, we have some further automation, which I'll explain also. So let's do this. Let's start by listening to Bob's flat, and then I'll show you what we've got in terms of the settings.
Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls, Tell me, baby, do you feel afraid when the night...
Great. I'm going to click on the LMC now. And here's what we have with this.
Following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls, Tell me, baby, do you feel afraid when the night falls, Come on, baby, kiss me when the night...
So as you can see, we've really opened up this track in the mids and the upper mids. We've got a value of 13, regular 13, regular 14, regular 9 up top. It's 10.5 in the low mids. You have to check these. And it's regular 8. So that's the curve of the 2BQ. I'm feeding it with negative 3.9 dB. The mix is pretty hot coming in, so I had to make sure to compensate for that gain. And I found that dropping the input drive to minus 3.9 was a good place. And I've also backed off the high frequency limiter just to make sure that everything is breathing open. I could keep it as it defaults, but backing it off allows me to not have to work this 2BQ as hard opening it up. And then I didn't have to touch the threshold, well, at least for Bob's. I didn't have to touch the makeup gain. So those are the only adjustments I need to make. That being said, I felt like, and I often do this, when I get happy with an LMC setting, I often do a little bit of EQ for fine-tune detail. And what I've done on the Pro Q is just so small, but we'll A/B this back and forth to show you how much this actually changes things. I found the frequency at 3,800, and I've just given it a half of a tenth of a dB. And I know that sounds almost ridiculous, but look how much it changes. I'm just going to flip it on and off, and let's discuss what it's doing. So here it is off. Still going through the LMC.
Of my seat, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, do you feel afraid? When the night falls, come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You'll never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when the
What I'm experiencing by just making this tiny fine-tune adjustment is that it's pulling everything upwards a little bit. It's creating an end result where the kick doesn't feel as punchy, but in a good way. It feels like it's connecting to the track a little bit more. Let's hear that in the verse. Let's just listen to how the kick is relating to the overall global balance of the track. So here it is in bypass.
beach, I'm following you. Oh, by the skin of my teeth, I am following you.
And now with it in.
Beach, I'm following you. Oh, by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why.
I'm just going to flip between back and forth again so you guys can have a nice comparison here.
I'm following you. Oh, by the skin of my teeth, I am following you. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place. When the night falls, tell me, baby, do you feel afraid? When the night falls, come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. You'll never make it if you miss the nightfall. Come on, baby, kiss me when.
Small things like this can make such a difference, especially when you have a mix that's fairly aggressively mixed with compression. I find that the more dense of a mix, the more apparent small fine-tune little adjustments make, or at least they're more audible. You know, if you have a very, I suppose, mix that's not as compressed in terms of the individual elements and the global compression, you can get away with being a little less fine-tuned. This is a subjective opinion, but what I mean by you can get away with it is that you won't hear more broad strokes, but when you have everything so compressed, so dense, the tiniest little adjustments you make are much more audibly apparent, just something I've experienced over the years. So even though we're dealing with 0.5 of a dB in a particular part of the frequency spectrum, feeding into what's going on in the LMC and all those post processes to this tiny little EQ adjustment, it makes a big difference in terms of how everything's interrelating. So for me, it does a lot of things. It focuses the attention upward in that area, which pulls that ball and of kick that's built up with the bass and the kick in the mix. And just, you know, you could explore cutting certain areas in the bottom to achieve a similar thing. Perhaps you'd have to experiment with that. But I'm listening globally. I'm listening macro. I'm listening to where my ear is going without that pro cue in there. And I'm hearing a little bit of a build up in the kick and the bass, but tilting it upwards to 3800. And you can, of course, experiment. I found that worked for me. It breathes it open a little bit more, but it also makes that kick and bass feel a little bit more in context with what's going on globally. Now, a good question you might ask is, why didn't I just do that on the LMC? And I find that the LMC is great for bigger moves, but to get really, really fine tuned, if you want to just add a little bit of pinch here and a pinch there, feeding a tiny little bit of EQ into the LMC achieves great results. So now let's check out what we have going on in this bridge. I'm just going to play the bridge section without any processing, and it's going to feel a little bit out of context. So you've been warned. So it feels a little bit bright now that we're in the context of Bob's mix and master world, where it has all this nice bottom support. So for me, like we experienced on the analog console, Eric's mix needs that support. So if we're going to join these, which is pretty ambitious, in fact, it could be argued that doing something like this is too ambitious. Each mix, there's such a departure between the two. It could be argued that we should never do this. And in fact, I might agree with that because it's such a departure. But it serves as a great example to show you what can be achieved in mastering. So even though these two mixes are in completely different worlds, we're bringing them to a place where we can kind of get away with editing between the two and it working. But you'll find that if you do this type of thing in other types of scenarios where the mixes there's not as much of a departure between the two, you can use techniques like we're demonstrating with this to achieve great results. So let's just put on the Lurssen Mastering console and see what we have here. Similar gain structure going in, and I've really emphasized 10.5. It's the click above just regular 10. 10.5 here at 60. We've got 15.5 on 120. We've got just regular 8 at 3. We've got 7.5 at 6K. And we've got regular 8 dB at 10. And let's see what we have here. 18.5 on the threshold of the de-esser. Now I've adjusted this threshold just to tighten the drums and the top end of the drums. I wanted to create a little bit more glue that all together. So I've tightened the threshold a little bit here. Now I have a value of 9.4 dB. And I've also taken down 1/10. I've come down on the makeup gain just 1/10 too, which creates all of the glue that's happening here to work a little bit more hard. So I've taken down the output gain. So created this nice hug. So let's just listen before and after here. So it's doing quite a lot here. You'll notice that I've done a little bit of automation on the high frequency limiting. At the very end here, you got a big buildup at the end of the bridge and it needs to expand. When you have these drums hitting and this bass swelling, the compressor is going to be hugging more and it could be perceived that it doesn't bloom properly. So backing off with a little bit of automation, backing off how the threshold of the de-esser is working, will allow it to expand naturally. Now, you could do this with EQ also, but I prefer, in this context, to just back off that high frequency limiting, and then it expands open. Check it out. You'll see it's drawn right here, and you can watch it move right here on the LMC de-esser, high frequency limiter. Let me give you a little bit of pre-roll here.
Tell me you you really want me? Oh, tell me you do.
Great. Now, I hit stop right there because we've done something a little different in this transition. And this actually is outside of what we would do in mastering typically, although sometimes it's requested of us to do creative production type of techniques to get away with get away with a special type of transition. So I pulled Warren in and he advised. So technically I had a producer's approval to do this because you would want a producer's approval to do this type of thing. I'm joking because he's not actually the producer of this track, but I'm just underlying that this would be a production type of decision. Now, what we've done is we've taken this segment right here and we've raised it 10 dB. You're going to hear what this does here. You're creating a transition piece, and it's better shown than explained. Check this out. Okay, now in context, that sounded really loud, but then it cuts. And in context with what follows it, check this out. So that was cool. Now, if we didn't raise that 10 dB, it's going to not sound right, but I can show you what this is actually doing. It's cool. It just kind of feels like it needs something to help bridge that transition. Check that out one more time. But then we add this little swell right here. Cool. Yeah, it's a cool production technique that works. Now, what do I have going on in terms of gain? Let's go back to the beginning here. And then I'll explain the Pro Q and how that helps it a little bit. What we have here is I've done a little bit of clip gain automation here, where I'm actually really emphasizing the very beginning of it, I'm boosting it 1.2 dB, Then I've done some crossfades here, equal gain crossfades here to make the transitions of gain. Then I've come down to minus 0.2 tenths, and then all the way down to minus 4 tenths. And then only at the very end do we get the gain back up to use that swell. So in context, it all sounds like this. And you know what? I'll throw on the Pro Q too, and I'll explain what that does too in a second.
Come on, baby, kiss me when the night falls. Never make it if you miss the night. Oh, yeah. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place when the night falls.
Let's figure out what we're doing with the Pro Q here. Again, just tiny little fine-tune EQ adjustments to favor what's going on the LMC post-it. But what have I done here? I boosted 0.46 dB, almost a half, at 117.41 hertz. Just found that frequency to work, just giving it a little bit more support in that area. And then I'm actually coming down at 2K, 0.11 dB. Very, very small amounts, but let's just listen to what that does to the track. This is in bypass.
Do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me? Oh, tell me you do. Oh, do you really want me?
So just warming it up further, smoothing out the top a little bit. It's all about how this fits in context, because again, we're listening to how it's coming out of Bob's and into Eric's, and then from Eric's back into Bob's. Again, this is a very ambitious move we're doing, but this EQ I found seems to help. One other thing I should add, this whole track is going through the LMC, which has a brick wall limiter at the end. So that means that you won't have any overs. Same with this section. When they transition, however, there is going to be moments where you might have some over issues. You have two limited tracks independent of one another, summing together, which could create an over for a split second. So what I have here is an L2 on the master fader that is automated just to click on and then back off just during those two transition areas. It's working with no gain threshold and zero at the output ceiling too, just to catch those overs. So you can see that it'll flick on and flick off for these sections here.
Baby, kiss me when the night falls. Never make it if you miss the night. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
And then again here.
Tell me you do. Tell me why you're paralyzed in place.
So there you have it, guys. Again, very ambitious to do it in this context, but you might find in other contexts it'll work even better. Again, have fun with it. We'll see you in the next episode.